found yourself buying a self-help book and another self-help book and another self-help book, only to have them sit unread on your shelf? Or maybe you've read them but struggle to actually implement them and the advice into your daily life. You're not alone. Today we're diving into the world of self-help versus shelf-help, and I'll be sharing 4 powerful strategies to help you turn that book knowledge into real life change. And I'll also be sharing examples from real books as well. And I just know you're going to love the bonus strategy I'll be sharing at the end of this video. So before we jump into the strategies, let's just talk a moment about the self-help industry. It's massive, generating billions of dollars annually. But here's the thing, despite all these books, courses, seminars, many people still struggle to make lasting changes in their lives. So the question becomes why? You see, consuming information isn't the same as applying it. That's where the term shelf-help comes from. So books that help your shelf look good, but don't actually help you. This disconnect between what we know and what we do is called the knowledge action gap. It's not enough to just read about personal development. We need to take action, but that's often easier said than done. Our brains are wired to resist change, even when we know it's good for us. So how do we bridge this gap? And ultimately, how can we do it efficiently? That's where our 4 strategies come in. So the first one is to highlight key points and write notes in the margins. Or perhaps if you're like me, use sticky notes or little post-it notes that you can actually make your own notes. I personally don't like to write in the book, but I do want to take notes. So a lot of my books have different colour post-it notes all over the place. Then the next point is to summarise each chapter. So rather than read one chapter and then move on to the next and move on to the next and move on to the next, we pause at the end of each chapter and summarise that chapter in our own words. You see, doing that actually makes it feel as though it's more what we understand, rather than reading it and taking it in the author's language. We're able to put it and write it in words and phrases that actually mean something to us. Doing this actually helps us to embody the content even more. Ask yourself how you can apply each of the concepts within that chapter into your life. And don't just skim over this, but any tools and techniques that they've suggested, think about, right, okay, where in my life can I apply this? Also, one of the other things you might want to do is to create mind maps or diagrams to help you visualize some of the important things. I remember when I was studying for my master's, and one of the things that helped me to retain a lot of knowledge and retain how I was going to apply it in my actual exams was that whole piece around having a mind map. It was easier for me to visualize how I would use the material. This is very similar. How are we going to use these concepts in our life? That mind map helps to give you a beautiful picture of it. By actively engaging with the material, you're more likely to remember, embody, and internalize it. So let's say you're reading about the concept of habit stacking in Atomic Habits by James Clear. You might create a mind map to visualize this concept. So at the center we write habit stacking, and then we branch out with examples of how you could apply that in your life. Such as, for example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 2 minutes. Or after I sit down for lunch, I will read 1 page of a book. This visual representation helps to internalize the concept of habit stacking and also generate personal applications. Now, strategy 2 is all about planning for implementation. So after you finish a chapter or a section of a book, take some time to create an action plan. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today to apply this concept? The second question is, how could I incorporate this into my daily routine? Number 3 could be, what obstacles might I face and how can I overcome them? And number 4, how will I measure my progress? You see, by creating concrete plans, you're more likely to actually take action. So for example, from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, after reading about the importance of proactivity, you might create an action plan that could go something like this. Today we identify one situation where perhaps I typically react instead of respond. This week I will practice pausing before responding to a situation. And this month I'm going to keep a journal of how I've applied proactivity in various aspects of life. Now, the potential obstacle could be falling back into reactive patterns when stressed. So the solution I'm going to put in place is a phone reminder to take a deep breath before any important interactions. Our third strategy is to find an accountability partner. So this could be a friend, a family member, or even someone you meet in an online community focused on personal development, for example. Now, what we want to do here is share your goals and action plans with them and set up regular check-ins. You see, knowing that someone else is aware of your goals and expecting updates can be a powerful motivator. Some tips for effective accountability partnerships are that we want to choose someone who will be supportive but also nudge you and push you when needed. The second piece is to set clear expectations for how often you'll check in and what you'll discuss. And then we also want to be honest about your progress and challenges and also celebrate your wins together, no matter how small or big. So for example, inspired by the emphasis of continuous learning in the Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett, you and an accountability partner might set up a system like this where you'll share one key takeaway from a business book or podcast each individual week. Then you can discuss how you've applied a recent learning in your work, and then perhaps set monthly goals for trying new productivity techniques, and then check in bi-weekly to share the progress and challenges. Now, the final strategy is to seek out coaching or mentorship. You see, while books are great, having personalised guidance can accelerate your growth. A coach or mentor can, first of all, help you identify blind spots and areas for improvement. They can also provide tailored advice based on your specific situation. And also, one thing they're really good at is holding you accountable, that word accountability again, but holds us accountable and also helps to nudge us outside of the comfort zone. Also, they'll offer encouragement and support when we will face setbacks. You see, having a coach in your life can be transformative in your journey of personal growth. I know for me personally, this is something I continue to invest in year on year. There are a number of reasons, but first and foremost for me, I want to continue to be the best I can be for all those around me, both personally and professionally. There are also other reasons, and here for me are the top 3 reasons for you to consider working with a coach. So the first one is that personalised accountability, regular check-ins to ensure that you're making progress on your goals and that it's the progress that we set out to. Also someone to answer to, increasing your own motivation to follow through on the plans. And also tailored strategies to overcome your specific challenges and obstacles. The second piece is accelerated growth and development. See, faster progress through focused effort and expert guidance is often one of the key things from working with a coach. Also help in identifying and leveraging your own unique strengths. And also they'll often give targeted exercises and assignments to build specific skills. And then they often help with expanded self-awareness and perspective. So an objective viewpoint on your challenges and your decisions. They'll also offer insights into how others perceive you and your actions. They should be able to offer tools to better understand your thoughts, emotions and behaviours, depending on the kind of coach you're working with. But by working with a coach, you create a structured approach to personal development that goes beyond just reading books. This partnership provides the support and accountability and personalised strategies needed to truly implement change and become the best version of yourself. You see, this approach ensures that you're not just consuming information, but you're actively applying it with professional guidance and support. I've lost count of the amount of times that people have said to me, "Oh yeah, I've read that book." And when I ask, okay, so what did you do differently as a result of reading the book? they almost just space out. They look at me blankly. For example, I might say, so tell me how applying habit number 3 from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, which is to put first things first. They know the habit, but they've not physically done anything with it. So at a glance, the overview of the habit is to be disciplined and manage your time. So in other words, determine important tasks and execute them. Also to prioritise important tasks over urgent but less important ones. Now, as you can see, there are a number of things you could choose to do to begin to implement this habit and master putting first things first. But the one action step from this would be to create a prioritisation matrix to give you clarity of your existing situation. From personal experience, this is something that has helped me time and time again tremendously apply this habit in my life. You see, there's only one person that can truly turn a self-help book into a self-help book, and that's you, by implementing the knowledge that you gain. So there you have it, the 4 strategies to turn self-help into real help. Remember, knowledge is only power when it's applied. So by using active reading techniques, creating implementation plans, finding accountability partners, and seeking out coaching or mentorship, you truly can bridge the gap between knowing and doing. And if you're still here, here's the bonus strategy that I mentioned right at the very beginning of this video. It's a super quick and effective technique to combat procrastination and actually implement what you learn. It's the 5-minute action rule, and here's how it works. After reading a chapter or learning a new concept, immediately take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, to do something, anything related to that particular chapter. You see, this action should be so small and easy that it almost feels ridiculous not to do it. The goal is to build momentum and break through that initial resistance. So for example, if you read about meditation, meditate for just 5 minutes right away. If you've learned a new productivity technique, apply it to one small task immediately. If you discover a new exercise routine, do just one set of one exercise. The beauty of this technique is that often once you start, you'll want to keep going, you'll want to continue beyond those first 5 minutes. But even if you don't, you still have taken the action and created a win. Remember, above all else, consistency trumps intensity. These small actions done regularly can lead to significant changes over time. So next time you learn something new, don't wait. Take that 5-minute action right away. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these strategies are you going to try? Or do you have any other tips for implementing what you learn from books? And also drop in the comments, what books are you currently reading at the moment? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on personal development and growth. Thanks for watching, and here's to turning that self-help into self-help.